Hello, everyone. Okay, here is my case study, and like many of you, she is the same subject that we did a case study, some work on a few modules ago. Her name's Lily. She's in grade 2, and she is one of my ESL students. And I can't click to the next page. Oh, there we go. Okay, a little history. Grade 2 student. She started in our school last January when she was a grade 1 student. Prior to that, she was in a Chinese kindergarten. As far as I know, we have no previous school records of any value. When she arrived at our school, she had no English. And even today, she seems to cope better in Mandarin when it comes to reading. But I don't really know how strong she is in reading and writing in her first language. She lives with her elderly grandparents here in China. The father is Moroccan and mother is Chinese. We understand she may be one of several wives. And Lily has an older sister, two younger sisters who were all born in China, but moved from China to Morocco and then moved back again. So we understand that the parents own or run some kind of a factory in Morocco, and they reside in Morocco while the girls live here. The mother sent all four daughters to China to live with her parents so that they could get an education. She believed if they stayed in Morocco, they would not have received much of an education because their father believed that as girls they would just marry one day and wouldn't need an education. So Lily's academic situation, her social behavioral situation in the classroom, here's several points for you to consider. She's very far behind her grade 2 peers, currently has no official IEP, and has not been really assessed for specific learning differences. According to Fountas and Pinnell's reading assessment, she reads at a kindergarten level. She used to be pretty good in math. She seems pretty confident with numbers, but once the math problems start to require like comprehension and more than one step, just a simple adding or subtracting, she can't cope with two-step or above instructions. Plus her English comprehension and her reading ability she struggles with that too. She tells me she likes art and music. She enjoys PE, but doesn't excel necessarily at any of those classes. She often plays alone at recess, and in the classroom she cannot stay on task unless somebody is following her constantly over her the whole time. All of her grade level work is too challenging, and she's following even a one-step instruction is just pretty much impossible. When left to her own, which does happen, she's my ESL student, but she's in one of my colleagues' classrooms then for most of the day. But when left to her own, she'll wander around the classroom and try to find scrap pieces of paper and just recycled materials and do all kinds of little crafty little projects, make little mini books. Nothing of any real, she doesn't really show any real talent necessarily at it, but she likes to just fuss and tape and glue and cut and things like that. So she's creative that way. When she's in the classroom, she's definitely not looking for any attention. She just wants to be in her own world and doesn't need any. She might ask a question or two about where something is or that, but she's completely on her own. She seems to be quite like oblivious to others in the classroom. She doesn't really associate with anyone, and she's not really fond of anyone. She has one little girl that she's a little bit more friendly with, but I think this girl takes her under her wing occasionally and likes to try to help her out if she's in a situation where she might need some help. Lily often comes to school without a morning snack, or she doesn't have her water bottle. She's missing library books, does not do her homework. That's for certain. She can't be left to be responsible for her homework. We have concerns about hygiene, and she comes to school with, very dirty clothes. And recently, other students are beginning to notice this kind of lack of hygiene. So in my classroom, I have met her mother briefly once when Lily arrived at our school last year, but since then, my only communication with her has been through WeChat. When Lily is with me, it's more of a one-to-one situation. So she can't really avoid doing work and getting, wandering around the classroom. So I have seen her quite belligerent when I am pushing her to do work, and she can be quite angry. And when she gets angry, she becomes very, very sloppy and just doesn't care about what she's doing. Sometimes I have considered incentives such as, let's read this book and answer some questions, or let's look at some of these vocabulary words, and then I'll let you do, the last 5 minutes or so. Let her continue with a little artwork or cutting and pasting, that kind of an activity that she enjoys. But that can't always do that either. I have noticed that her English is improving. She's beginning to communicate more easily and on a deeper level. So there is improvement there. And you can see here that when I interviewed Lily, she had a few things to say, about her life. She doesn't really have a whole lot of things going on at home. I think they watch TV a lot. She doesn't see her parents. I don't know when they were here last. Could be about 1.5 years ago. I think she talks to them on Skype or on WeChat occasionally. And we just recently understood that her mom is about to have another baby, and hoping it's a boy this time, because she's got 4 sisters, or there's 4 girls already in the family. We have had contact with the mom through Skype, the support team at our school, and the homeroom teacher. I've been included in those meetings as well. We've had the grandparents in for interviews, and it's apparent that they have no control over these 4 little girls that they're looking after. And I think that's one of our biggest problems. Mom seems to have some interesting ideas about how the children should be looked after. And she seems to think that the school should carry a bigger responsibility for the girls in place of the grandparents not being able to do what they need to do. Last night, Lily and her sister were running around the school until 6 o'clock. Nobody was there looking after them, and the grandparents didn't get there until 6 to pick them up. So it's a pretty difficult situation. We have had Lily in a reading intervention program, and that has helped her very, very limited help. You can see here, this is the mom, the homeroom teacher has sent home this little chart here to help the grandparents, to help Lily figure out what she needs to do when she's at home, what days she needs to wear what uniform, if she has PE, and the things that she needs to remember to bring to school. And just recently, we have found a tutor for her. The school actually went so far as to do this for the mom. And he's a Chinese teacher who's fluent in English. So he's been working with the girls and her older sister and Lily, and they're getting some homework done recently. So that is really helpful, and we are very hopeful that this is going to make a difference in the short term. Here's a sample of Lily's work, just for curiosity. This was part of her intensive vocabulary spelling quiz, and you can see frustration and just a complete loss of understanding of what to do. So I'm inspired by this case study. I'm inspired to hear what you may have to suggest for me, to pass on to her support services team and to pass on to her homeroom teacher, as well as what I can do in my ESL class to help her. We all care very much for this family of children, and definitely need any good advice about what to do next. So thank you for listening. Looks like my recording is too long, so I'll have to make it shorter for the VC tomorrow night or on Thursday night. Thank you.